Hi, we're going to be looking at classifying triangles. The first is the definition. A triangle, a polynomial figure formed by three segments joining non-collinear points. And that's also saying that a triangle is equal to 180 degrees. So the first category to classify a triangle is going to be by sides. So we can call this category 1. Equilateral triangle has 3 congruent sides. That means that it also has 3 congruent angles. So if I have 180 divided by 3, each angle is going to be valued at 60 degrees. An isosceles triangle has at least 2 congruent sides. That means that the base of this triangle is going to have congruent angles. And next you have a scalene. So a triangle has no congruent sides. That means that the angle of each vertex is also not going to be congruent to anything else. Next, you have the classification of triangles by an angle. We can call this category 2. An acute angle is a triangle with 3 acute angles. So that means that all 3 angles, so all angles are less than 90 degrees. An equiangular triangle is a triangle with 3 congruent angles. That also means that the sides are congruent. That means that it's also an equilateral triangle. Okay, next is a right triangle. It's a triangle with 1 right angle. So that just means that 1 angle equals 90 degrees. And it has that little symbol of the box. An obtuse triangle is a triangle with 1 obtuse angle. So that means that 1 angle is going to be greater than 90 degrees. Okay, in our examples, we're going to classify each triangle by its sides and angles. I like to just make a T-chart and then just list the reasoning underneath. So if we look at the sides of the triangle to the left, I see 2 hatchings. So that means I have an isosceles triangle. Remember, with 2 hatchings, that means that I also have 2 congruent angles. So let's talk about the angles. I see 1 obtuse angle, so this is also an obtuse triangle. Next, I see that none of the sides are congruent. I also see that none of the angles are congruent, but all the angles are less than 90 degrees. So when I talk about the sides are going to be a scalene. And then by angles, I have an acute triangle. Now we're going to look at triangle parts. Remember, the definition of a triangle is going to be a polynomial with 3 segments that are joining non-collinear points at a vertex. So I have triangle ABC. Now, the vertex of a triangle is a point which the sides of an angle intersect and meet. And then next you have adjacent sides, are sides that share a common vertex. Now, the plural of vertex is going to be vertices. So when we talk about the vertices in ABC, I'm going to say that I have vertex A, B, and C. Each of those is going to be a vertex, which plural is vertices. Adjacent sides, when we talk about what the adjacent sides are that have a common vertex, an example, that would be AB and AC are connected by vertex A. So that's what they have in common. Next, opposite of angle A is going to be segment BC. So it's directly across. That means opposite. So it's BC. The parts of a right triangle are the legs of a right triangle form a right angle. You don't want to assume, you want to make sure it has that little symbol. And then a hypotenuse in a right angle is a side opposite the right angle. So this side would be the hypotenuse. And then as it described the legs, these other two are legs. And then lastly, you have isosceles triangle parts. The legs of my isosceles triangle are two congruent sides. Two congruent sides. So that means that I have two congruent angles. The base of my isosceles triangle is a third non-congruent side. So that means that this is a leg, and a base.